bit about the contract. How does that process work for someone who may be new, a small business owner? Are they tied to one-year contracts, or how does it, I guess, traditionally work in the industry around?
So that's a good question. So some factoring companies do require a long-term contract, and minimums like we were discussing and things like that. We don't do any of that. So we don't have a long-term contract that we have our clients sign. We don't ever want to do a 1 or 2 time funding ideally. So we do like to have a more long-term relationship with our clients, and most clients do end up working with us for a really long time. Most of our clients have been with us for several years. So, but we don't require that at all. So we always say we ask for clients to fund with us for at least 6 months. But there's no long-term contract in place.
We like to say that, but our contract is what's actually written in our contract is a net 45 days to give notice of termination. And really that just gives us enough time to settle up on any outstanding invoices that we might have on the books. So it's truly a 45-day notice if that's, and that's definitely intentional to make it, again, super easy and flexible. And we never want to lock somebody into a long-term contract. We want to be here as long as they need us. And if they don't need us, that's okay too.
Yeah, exactly.
So any frequently asked questions that, hey, Loyal Hearts. Okay. I was gonna say, is there any frequently asked questions that you guys get over there that you wanted to share that might be helpful?
Last questions.
Yeah. So let's see. I have a few pulled up here. So one question we get, do we offer any other forms of financing like loans and things like that? We do not. We only do the payroll funding portion of things. So, but especially for our staffing agencies, typically that payroll funding is really all they need. And then I see a couple of other really good questions. So someone said, you may have answered this. What is your invoice rate and the frequency? So our rates, I assume you're asking about our advance rates, which we advance 90% upfront for staffing agencies. And we offer you guys a higher advance rate to help ensure that you can make payroll. And then as far as the frequency, it just depends how often you're billing your facilities. So a lot of our staffing agencies, of course, are billing weekly. So we fund a lot of people weekly because of that. And then what separates American funding from other factoring companies? So I'd say the biggest things are definitely that we're super flexible. We don't require any long-term contracts. And at the end of the day, we want to serve as, a partner to our clients. So we want to do everything we can to help them be successful. And, other things like we follow up on past due invoices for our clients. So if they're net 30, for example, once the invoices are past 30 days, we help with that past due follow-up to just try and help ensure that invoices get paid on time.
So and we do have partnerships because we work so much in the staffing agencies. We have partnerships with insurance companies, with payroll companies. So we don't necessarily offer those services, but we could definitely be a one-stop shop to help a startup or even someone a little bit more seasoned find the resources that they need for all things small business. So we try to help them with that.
Can every industry factor? That's a good question.
That is a good question. So we fund a lot of different industries. We do fund a lot of staffing. We can't work with every single industry. The most important thing is that it's business to business invoices. So we can't do business to consumer, like an individual. So it has to be business to business. We don't do like construction progress billing.
Or third party medical, because those are just very expertise types of funding. You have to make sure every I is dotted, T is crossed in both of those industries. But we also have a lot of security guards. If you think about that, that's kind of almost a little bit like staffing. It's usually an hourly rate. We also have a lot of janitorial, and then we have a lot of just, that's one of the best things, is small businesses, the things they do to make money. We have so much fun. Love doing that.
Yeah, we have lots of different industries
like
that we
mobile
work
mechanics, a lot of some transportation, some different
Yeah.
things like that. A lot of consulting, and then what I call a little bit of blue collar, like engineers. That's probably not blue collar, it's more white collar, but electricians, some things like that.
Yeah.
Some who are subcontractors. We said we don't do construction, but we will work with subcontractors who, maybe are providing different types of services in that industry.
Do you guys do home health at all, or that was under the other criteria for home health agencies?
Home health, typically, it just kind of depends who the ultimate payer is.
Home health, if it's that one's a little bit harder. If it's a government agency that's paying it, if it's Medicare or Medicaid, then no, just because again, that's a little bit of like, third party kind of things. But that one's a little, we'll look at it depending on who's ultimately paying the invoice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I didn't know some of those. That's good to know. We have another question. What information do I need to submit when I want to factor an invoice?
So when we factor invoices, we need some sort of backup for the invoice as well. So for staffing, that's going to be timesheets. So whichever timesheets correspond with the invoice, we'll have our clients include those when they submit the invoice for factoring. And then we just need proof of submission as well. So our clients, typically the way it works is they just send the invoice to their facility. A lot of our clients use QuickBooks or whatever invoicing software they use. They can just have it set up so that we are copied when invoices are sent out. So that way we can see that it was sent to the facility and then sent to us as well for funding.
Okay. Do you have to verify my invoices? I feel like you answered that one. So the verification.
Yeah, so that kind of goes hand in hand with the backup. So we see that the invoice was submitted to the facility along with the timesheets. So typically, especially for staffing, that's what we look for.
Okay. And were there any other questions, or if you guys wanted to go ahead and jump in and share a little of your frequently asked questions, just some of the ones that people haven't touched on yet, and then we'll kind of wrap it up if we don't.
So one of the ones I wanted to talk about, this is one of ours that we've included before. So my business is new and has no credit history. Can I qualify? So the answer is yes, we can definitely work with startups. And I think that's something that kind of sets us apart too. If, we have people who reach out to us who are brand new and maybe don't even have any contracts in place yet. That happens all the time, and that's totally fine. So basically when that happens, we'll just do as much of the application process as we can. And really all we are waiting on at that point is that first signed contract. So, that way our clients know that as soon as they have their first contract in place, they have funding and they'll be all set and ready to go. So if people reach out to us and they're brand new, no contracts yet, that is fine.
Okay. User 604, they answered that question a little bit earlier. So no, you don't have to factor all of your invoices.
Yep, we're flexible, so you can factor whichever invoices you want, whichever facilities you want, whatever is easiest for you.
Lauren has a question. You're full of questions today. Good questions, Lauren. Does it build my business credit? This is an interesting question, so I'm interested to know the answer to that.
How to build a business credit?
Or does doing invoice factoring build your business credit?
No, actually, the answer is no, believe it or not. So we get that question a lot. So we actually report on our clients' customers. So since our clients truly aren't paying us, we're advancing on the invoice and then we're ultimately getting paid by the facility. So they can't really use it to build business credit. But that being said, we have been a reference for a lot of businesses who are trying to get, contracts, and we'll write up a letter of reference saying that, we are their finance company and we're providing them with a line of credit up to a certain dollar amount. And a lot of times that will help them get contracts because they know they've got funding in place and they're going to be able to take that. So we don't actually report to credit agencies on our clients, but we're happy to be a reference and to provide any kind of documentation to prove that they have financing in place.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
and I think the last question we had on our end was, so some people will ask what their customers will think. So of course, when we start funding a facility, we'll send notice of assignment to that facility, and some customers are, kind of worried about what they're going to think. And we've never had a customer, have an issue, especially with healthcare staffing. They're very familiar with factoring. Typically, they're not, looking at our email and, feeling confused and wondering, why we're reaching out to them. Typically, they kind of understand what factoring is, and they're pretty, easy to work with and get notice of assignment response from and everything.
So our notice of assignment very much states that we're providing a line of credit to the business. And so, in reality, every business needs financing. I mean, if you're going to be growing and, if hardly any businesses can be self-funded, especially as they continue to grow. So it's really not a stigma. It just shows that you've got financing in place, and that, to be able to even qualify for financing actually is a really good thing. So it's truly not a big deal. We do sometimes ask our clients to give that facility a heads up that we're going to be sending that. So again, it's not a surprise when we send that and we introduce ourselves as the finance company. Everybody's on board with that. So
yeah.
Great. And I think to wrap it up, we have one last question around how do I fill out an application? I guess either Anna or Kim, if you guys want to drop your contact information and how they can find you in the comments below. And if you guys have questions, additional questions that you want to have answered, we'll probably repeat this again. And give you guys a chance to ask questions and get some answers, as well as some understanding about how payroll funding invoice factoring works. So, and they're also here on TikTok. So they have a lot of very cool and informative TikToks. So I would definitely check them out. Okay. All right.
We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram, Facebook.
Is it all the same handle?
Yes, so it's going to be Funding for You, or American Funding Solutions.
Awesome.
Okay, so I just popped our email and phone number on there, and then I'll put our website as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. I'm glad we got it together.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
yes, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it was great talking with you. And if anyone is interested in reaching out to us, feel free to email us, give us a call, check out our website, and we can answer any other questions that you have.
All right. Thank you guys. Have a rest.
Thank you.
Good day.
Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.